Hey YouTube, how's it going? It's me, R-Squad911, back again with another DIY video. I was going to say unboxing, but I've kind of already unboxed what I needed to unbox out of the box. So really it's just a DIY video. I'm pretty excited about this. This is the 12th floor movie props aluminum motherboard. And this is it right here. It is built very, very nicely. And full disclosure, this is my second one from them. I had purchased, I guess you would say their version 1. And, you know, there was some things, it wasn't too bad, but there were some things that were a little bit off about it. Like on, for example, on their file, I guess they didn't really clean up the file perfectly, and there was like some notches cut into the aluminum. And I was fine with that. It still looked good, like those notches were barely noticeable. But I just wanted to get one that didn't have that. And at the time when I ordered it, I didn't know that you can ask them to customize certain things, like where you wanted the holes. So the other one had all the holes in it, and it just seemed like there was just too many holes, because when you have an aluminum motherboard, to mount the Alice frame, you only really need a couple of points. So I wanted the two bottom ones, the crossbeam, and the top, because I had the spacers to kind of push the Alice frame up off the motherboard. And so I just ordered another one, and this, I guess, would be their newest, latest, and greatest version 2. I'm going to name it the version 2, and it looks immaculate. It looks like they've also updated these clamps here, nice aluminum solid. And when you take off these, they've ovaled it out to give you that kind of play or adjustability up and down. And it's also enlarged, so you still have some play kind of laterally and vertically, which is really, really cool. Very well thought through. And you know what? That's the thing with, you know, if you were the early adopter and got one of their first ones, it's still a great product. It's just, you know, as companies progress and they learn more from their customers with feedback and whatnot, the product gets better. For example, if you watch my old video on the Fruto Technologies bar graph, I was an early adopter and I got their first iteration of their bar graph, and it's not compatible with any of their new boards that they got. So that's with any company. Any good company, if they just stay the same and don't improve on their product, then that's not really a good company in my books. So yeah, everything looks great on this one. I like how they use a nylock bolt on there, thick washer just to hold that down. And there is, where is it here? A 3D printed piece that kind of clamps over top, and that's where your cake will sit on top of, which is nice. And it does have the shape of the bolt that goes on there. So it's nice. Yes, if you see, I'll take that off so it doesn't fall out. If you turn it around this way, you can see that these are elongated, so you still have that adjustability if you want it closer or further. It all really depends on, you know, what's inside your pack. All the measurements should all be the same on these. It's just whether or not you have stuff inside that will be in the way. So for mine, which side would it be? I think this side has the vent, the CNA prop design smoke kit. So I would need to move it slightly more forward to clear their cylinder in there. So that's really good to have that adjustability. Yes, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bolt it on as is, as you see it here. And later I'm going to change these to something that, you know, I work in the, well, not as much anymore in the automotive industry. So I have some automotive fasteners like titanium bolts and aluminum spacers and washers that I want to use that I think will look really cool on this. And we'll bolt on the Alice frame. But for now, we're just going to take off the stock motherboard and we're going to put on this one. And yeah, see how that goes. And with this, it comes with all the bolts already. They had bolts already installed into there. And of course, if you do have the CNA prop design, they need shorter bolts. And I I had a pack full of nuts. They're actually over there, right there, nuts and bolts. So there's different sizes. And what's nice is when, I'll show you after, is they included some extra screws in case you needed some of the screws to match, which is a really nice thinking ahead, especially for the customer. Okay, so with the motherboard, I mean, if you're already changing this motherboard, or if you've already done mods to your pack, you know where all the screws are. There's a whole bunch of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 bolts. For me, I only have 15 bolts because my trick is with those tubes that stick in the front, I just screwed them directly to the pack. So when you unscrew it off the motherboard, I think it's these two here or these two, they don't just fall to the ground, which was great. So it's 2 less screws for me, and I thought that was amazing. But with this motherboard, once you bolt it on, it's only 4 screws, and you don't have to take the Alice frame off of this. You can leave the Alice frame bolted on, and it's just 4 screws, and it comes out one piece, which is awesome. I don't know how many times I've had this motherboard off my pack on camera and off camera for you guys when I do these YouTube videos, but it's going to be way easier. I wish I got this even sooner. I wish it was my first mod. But I don't think there was one back then. I think there was Redmond Studios, and it would have made my life so much easier. And sorry, the vent is on this side, not that side. The CNA Prop Design vent kit. But this is a really, really good option to buy. It's thick aluminum, looks like 3mm aluminum. It's solid. It's not crazy heavy. Obviously, it's heavier than the plastic motherboard, but it just looks so, so good. Yeah, and when I calculated it out, it ends up being about just over $100 Canadian cheaper, even though it's being shipped from the UK. Shipping from the UK was about 90 Canadian dollars. So just apples to apples, board versus board, this board is about half the price of Redmond Studios. But once you include shipping from the UK, and it didn't take very long to get here, just about a week, just over a week, and it was great. It was packed so well. Probably the best packed product I've gotten from an independent maker, or like a small, maker. It was just packed really well, very secure, and I was very impressed. They had it sandwiched in cardboard, and these tabs had like special tabs that kind of held it into place, which was all done by hand with like an X-Acto knife, and that was very impressive to me because I appreciate good packing. So yeah, that's all I have to say about that, and we're just going to test fit it straight as is. As you can see, they have the bolt all pushed the furthest in that they can. It can obviously be adjusted, so you would just unscrew that. I believe that's a 10mm, and then you would just move them forward. And the way that they're cut in elongated like that, you can actually twist them. So you can have this part further down, this part higher. So it would put this at an angle. But I believe that they've figured out already kind of like where it needs to be right away. So I'm gonna make sure all the clips go in, and boom, like just like that, it's already, like we have right now, if I were to tighten the screw, it'd probably move left and right. So that's the play from it being the furthest in. So if you don't like that and you want that bracket right up against, therefore, I guess more rigidity versus, if you have a gap like that, that the screw is just, the screw is here and needs to reach the point over there. You don't want that gap, then you want to seal it like that. Then I feel like you have better structural integrity, especially when you just have 2, 3, 4 points holding through plastic, right? But for now, we're just going to bolt it up and see how it fits. So far, so good. Everything looks perfect. And another thing what I do like about this motherboard over Redmond Studios, even though I have friends who have the Redmond Studios motherboard, and it's gorgeous, right? It's just, I like to give new shops a chance. Like to try out their product. Plus, it was $100 cheaper for me, and that in my books is a no-brainer to try out, right? Yeah. So what I was saying is they put theirs about 1 or 2 mil from around the border, which is really nice. It's nice and tight. And I like that kind of like low profile silhouette. Enough that it still protects the plastic. If you were to drop it, it would hit the aluminum first for that 3 mil, and it'll protect your pack. Whereas the Redmond, I noticed that it's much thicker, almost like a 1/4 inch wider. I believe that they sell one now that is a little thinner, which is cool too. But again, $100 cheaper. And so far it looks like an excellent, excellent product. Yeah, these are centered perfectly on these notches here, which is nice. The first motherboard that I got from them was ever so slightly off. I mean, if you are very picky, then that might bother you. But with this version here, new and improved, it is bang on. And I really appreciate that. Okay, so got my Allen screwdriver here. I'm just going to look through these holes. So I've already drilled holes through here. I'm going to take this off the tripod. I've already drilled the holes here because I've already put in the screws there. And what's nice is they give you all these extra screws here. So I'm going to put another screw, get rid of that Phillips right there, and add this one so it's going to match. But I already have those holes there. And what you're going to do is you're going to take your drill and you're just going to find a drill bit that's just the same width of this screw. The trick is not to make it smaller like I do in all my other project videos, because it would screw into the plastic. You kind of just want it to be open so the screw can go in and out without any restriction, so you are able to find where it needs to bolt in. And another trick that I have for you is you take like a thin screwdriver like this, and you kind of put it in the hole, and you kind of wiggle it around like this. So you center that metal clip into the hole. Because if it's not centered, your bolt is not going to find where it needs to be. And because I have the CNA prop design vent right there, I'm not going to use a long bolt because it's going to screw right into the 3D printed side. So I'm going to use a short one that they've provided. And it just reaches it there. Will there be enough thread to go through? I'm not sure, but it just tightens. So what I would do is I would loosen these bolts here, and I would move this forward to go right up against the inside there. And then you'll get enough thread going through. And again, better structural rigidity. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bolt it all up, see the fitment, and then I'm going to adjust all those bolts for length. All right, so I'm going to use this one here. Again, it doesn't line up, so I'm putting my thin piece there. I'm doing a kind of like a circle that centers it. And boom, it fits perfectly. All right, I'm actually very impressed. Screw this in. And again, because the brackets are so far away from where we're screwing it in, if you screw it in too tight, you're going to see the plastic bow a little bit. So you just kind of want to stop. And that's why you would want that bracket kind of resting up against where it needs to be screwed in. Because if you screw it in too much, you're going to actually start seeing it start to cave in a little bit because it's trying to reach that point. Because the screw is gripping onto a metal plate, which is much stronger. The tensile strength is much stronger than the plastic, and it's just going to warp the plastic, right? So you do not want to do that. And then while you're doing it, you just kind of want to keep an eye on how everything's aligned. Right now, this is dead center. This one kind of moved a little bit, so I might have to loosen it up. Okay, loosen it up and then just figure out where I want this to sit. It needs to angle this way, and then boom, I'm back. So it looks like the motherboard wants to pull this way. So I'm going to screw in this screw first to make sure that this alignment stays proper. Yeah. Okay. Now, this screw here. And then there's already a hole here on this side. So all I need to do is take that same drill bit and drill it so that the screw fits through. And of course, I'm going to take this, put it through the hole, make sure it lines up. As I'm screwing it in, because it's not right up against it, as I screw it in, it'll actually pull the motherboard this way. And you just got to figure out how far you want it to be pulled. Check this alignment, that's getting better. Same gap mode, that's less gap on this side, more gap here. So I'll just unscrew it a little bit for adjustment. It feels like the same gap on the top. This could be pulled up a little bit. So I might have to unscrew the bottom one here. So really we're just going bit by bit, making sure that everything kind of lines up. Okay guys, I forgot to mention one thing. I'm doing a DIY video. I have to make sure that it's a proper DIY, right? So on the side here, you have to drill your own hole. On this side, the hole is already there. You just need to make it bigger. So they've already accounted for where the alignment will be. And down here, the holes, you just drill it directly center of these indents. I mean, if you've already modified your pack, I'm sure you've already put in black screws down here. All right, but the tricky part is here. Now, how do you make sure that you get the proper alignment here is the question. So the trick to doing it is you take this out like this. Oh no, did I not unscrew everything already? I didn't, because I got a package delivery. I didn't unscrew those, but I got a package delivery right there, and that's for something else. So what I'm gonna have to do is unscrew these bolts and show you guys how it's done. Okay, everything's unscrewed. So how do you do it? What you do is you take the motherboard, you lift it up, and you plop it down. And you're pretty much exactly where you need to be, right? So once you have it down there, you would mark it with your marker through the hole where it's going to be. Then you're going to take into account the gap. You see this gap here? And then you'll add like 2-3 millimeters to where you mark your hole, and you go downwards, and that is exactly where it will line up. And what's great about this kit is, let me remove this clip. Hold on. I'm going to face down first. Once you remove this clip, look, they've elongated the hole. So if you can still have adjustment by quite a bit down and up and like backwards and forwards, right? So that's how you do it. All right. So I'm going to add this video somewhere in there, and then you guys will figure it out. Okay. This screw lined up perfectly. One shot. Wow. That is great. I have helped put on the Redmond Studios motherboard, and it's very simple. And this is just as simple, if not simpler, because right now everything lines up great. Wow, I'm very impressed. This screw needs to be unscrewed all the way if I want to get proper alignment. Okay, I see. I see what's happening. There we go. Yep, that made up for it. Okay, so. This is actually really simple. They got all their measurements bang on. Yeah, okay. And now the final screw here doesn't quite reach. So I would have to adjust those, or I can use a screw that I've had on my other kit that I just kind of cut off. So it was, if you're using the CNA Prop Design, use the longer one and cut off about that much. Right? Just a couple of threads. Ooh, for some reason, this doesn't want to go into the slot. I wonder if it's on a slight angle. There we go. Perfect. The trick is always to put like a thin screwdriver or something in and just get that clip centered. Because if it's slightly off, it's just not going to screw in. Look how easy it's screwing in now. And boom, that is it. Look at that. That is it mounted. Got the gap here. Could probably go a little bit more that way, but it is fine. Let me take this camera off the tripod. And yeah, we can see here, it's a nice gap. I do have it a little over to this side so it can go that way, and that would make that more even, and over here more even. But look at that gap. It looks really good as I go around. Nice. This one is slightly off center, but that's fine. It's still within it. I mean, that's all about adjustability, like how far you want to go with adjusting how everything sits. This one's dead center. The gap could be a little bit bigger here, so I just might need to tighten these screws to pull the motherboard there. This fits nicely in there. It is not perfectly center, but it's in, it clears. And what we need to test is putting the cake in. And that works. And then the bolt. Yep, lots of threads for the bolt. And put the cover on. The final test really is the bellow. If it is center. And seems like it. Yep, we are good. That is on there. Wow. That was super easy to install this. I'm going to take this all off, and then we're going to bolt in the Alice frame, check that everything aligns. You can also ask them not to put any screw holes in it if you just want to bolt the Alice frame directly onto it. I've seen guys do it, and they do it right in the middle of the cross frame. I personally don't like that because on the bars that go vertically and laterally, those rest on your back. So if you have this screw or bolt sticking out there, it's going to jam into your back, which is very uncomfortable. That's why I kind of like the factory mounting screws. And I'm going to show you in just a sec. So I'm going to put the camera back on the tripod. I'm going to go get my Alice frame, and we are going to install this thing. This has been one of the easiest installs I've ever done, i.e. the wand. Oh my God. But Fruto Technologies is sending me their latest version 3 bar graph free of charge. Yeah, so I can complete that mod and DIY. All right, so flip this over and I will go get my Alice frame and I will be right back. Okay guys, I'm back. I got my Alice frame here and get ready to bolt it on. But before I do that, I'm going to show you the old version 1 motherboard. And this is it here. You can see that little notch there. And a little notch right there. Very little, something that you won't really notice. But I just had to get this newer one, and it was good. And you can see here, it's like the back of this board looks like Swiss cheese, right, for the Alice frame mounting. Like really, you don't need this one, you don't need this one. I just like the cross beam and the top because I use the spacers on it. And I'm not sure if there was a spacer here. It kind of looks like there was. And then you can see these are the automotive. I use titanium bolts here with these spacers. And I think they just look a little cooler, a little different. It's more me. People know me. I'm really into cars and whatnot. So that's just something that just speaks to me. And I had to like cut down some of the bolts here just because it wouldn't clear the inside. It cleared here, didn't clear here, sitting on the CNA prop. Because if you look on the inside of when they use their regular bolts, it's actually quite flush over here, as low as this nut here. But I just kind of wanted to go with this look versus these chrome pieces there. And I just thought it looked pretty cool. Let me know what you guys think below. All right, so let's bolt on the Alice frame. One thing I do need to note is that on this old board, for some reason, and some people didn't have this issue, is my Alice frame wouldn't line up this way to there. So I had to just bolt these spacers on here and let the Alice frame sit on it. I mean, this bolt, and these bolts, more than enough to hold it on an aluminum board. Not so much on a plastic one, but it was fine. I tried with some other packs and it was off as well. But other people that I spoke to online, their packs lined up perfectly. So I have no idea what happened, but it wasn't a huge bother for me because I knew that it was held on. But in the back of my mind, obviously, it bothered me a little bit. And I like to have everything done proper and look proper, right? Hence me going through all that extra effort, adding these bolts and cutting them down. Okay, so just wanted to make note of that. But this new board is primo, like premium. Geez, it looks really, really good. So we're gonna put this kind of on here. Looks like everything is going to line up. So first things first, we're going to do this spacer here. There. And I know that the paint finish on this is a little delicate. You know, I like to keep everything kind of pristine looking, but if you do chip up the black paint on it, it's going to look like weathering anyways, which I'm fine with that. But right now I just want to kind of put it on without any damage to the finish. And of course, I'm changing the bolts to these titanium bolts here, as you can see, just because I have them and I like them and I just want to use them. The burnt titanium color might not be for you, but it is definitely for me. Okay, so I'm going to do the back now, or the bottom. Let's raise that up. I forgot where I got these spacers from. I think it was on Etsy. I'll look at my purchase history and then I'll put a link in the description below. But that bolts up perfect. Very nice, very nice. I'm just, loosely tightening them. I'm not fully bolting them in as yet, just because you just want to be able to line everything up, make sure everything fits, and then once everything is in, then you do your tightening. Okay. Next up is these. The spacers there. And that looks like money. Nice. Great. Where is my other bracket? Let's lift that up, put it there. I seem to be missing a bracket. Oh, it's over here on the floor. I can't see from this angle if my holes are lined up. There we go. There we go. Yes. And we're pretty much done. I mean, all you do at the end is fine adjustment, tighten everything up, bolt everything in, and I mean, like the gap all around the pack. Just tighten these up. But well done, 12th floor movie props. I know they're getting a little bit of slack online. We say that he spams the groups a lot, and I get it. You know what? Like this is this is how he supports his family. This is how he makes some money, right? So he's going to promote unless they tell him to stop, the admins, right? And I think that he made a very, very good product, and it's competitive against the Redmond Studios. Redmond Studios is great in its own right, but for me, this was $100 cheaper shipped to my door. And it got here pretty quick. So I'm all for supporting new people or design stuff. Oh, it does add some weight to the pack. But look at that, that's very, very strong on there. And I am super impressed with this. Wow, all right. So that is pretty much it. I don't know, should I show you guys the pack with all these switched out? I'll just do a photo at the end of this video, but that is pretty much the DIY video of it. Great product, well built, everything fits very nicely. Everything is very well thought through with the elongated holes to give you some variance if you need to adjust. And yeah, and what is great is just messaging them on Etsy and telling them exactly how you want your motherboard drilled. When they start getting really, really busy, I'm not sure if they're going to still offer that because it's going to be so hard to keep track of orders. But I feel like this product is top notch and it is going to sell very, very well. Maybe they might even increase their prices, but their pricing is super competitive. And it's a super great product. I'm super happy with it. And I think you guys will be too. I'll put a link in the description below. I'm not affiliated with them in any way. I paid full price for this for both of them. And yeah, here it is on my pack. And I am ecstatic. I just need to add that sticker on here. And we're good to go. But that's it for now. So please like and subscribe, comment below, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace. Okay guys, I have now put my own personal touches on there. And these are washers and bolts my brother made many, many years ago. He was selling these. I have a massive surplus of it in my garage. I might just put these up on Etsy and sell them, but they're pretty cool. Lightweight titanium. They weigh like feathers, almost like nothing, which is awesome. Anyways, I have everything aligned. This is center. This is center as well. And then you can see here, everything's bolted in. Got the bolts there too. Right there as well. I also use the screws to go in here. Oh, I haven't tightened those yet. Same as that one. But everything looks good. All right. So that's my own personal touch to this. Instead of, we go to this piece here, the old motherboard. I mean, these look great too. I mean, if you don't want to fiddle around with them, it's completely fine. I just personally like these. They're lower profile, they're black with burnt titanium, and I think it looks great. All right, thanks for watching.